How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys could, before we start, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. So today we are going to be looking at some Googan baits, reviewing them, giving you my opinion on them. And remember, this is just my opinion. There's been a lot of negativity and controversy with the Googans and Googan baits, and we'll talk about that and get a little bit into it. But first, I want to take a look at their baits, talk about them a little bit, and then we can talk about what I feel on the product line and the Googans themselves. So let's get into it. All right, guys. So these are all the Googan baits that I've purchased, and I gotta say, the majority of them I'm very happy with. I went over most of the hard baits and one of the soft plastics in the previous videos, the ones that came out of the Mondo kit and the Twitch box. But I figured I'd throw them in the video just to kind of show you the whole lineup of what I have and my opinions on them. If you missed those videos where I unboxed the two kits, I will link one of them in the iCard above, and there will be another one in the end of the video as a pop-up. But let's get to the baits. First things first, we will go over these Saucy Swimmers. I kind of went in depth about these when I unboxed them. You know, I think they're pretty similar to a Kitech. They're a little bit more durable though. They feel like they're a little bit more firm and like they'll hold together a little better. They won't get ripped apart as easy, but they still seem to have a lot of flex in the tail, and I think that tail will give a nice wide kick in action. So happy about these. I think these are going to work really well. Next thing we'll go over quick, we got some 4/0 hooks. Nice thick gauge on these, super sharp, so don't see any issues with these. I think those will work out good. Then we have your standard white spinner bait. Can't have too many of those. Nice sharp hook on this, nice and thick gauge wire, and got two keepers for your soft plastics. That should be great. Top water popper. I like the chartreuse on the tail on this bait. I think that's a nice added attractant to it. Definitely going to catch some fish on that. Then we have the mini bangers. Now I really like these crankbaits because they're 1/4 ounce, nice and small. I like fishing a smaller profile bait, so these are perfect for what I do and what I like to fish. These baits, however, did not have as sharp of a hook on them as all the other hard baits I received. Now, they're not dull to the point where you'd have to worry about switching them out. I just noticed that these are not as sticky sharp as all the other baits that we got, but again, I'm not worried about switching them out. They'll still catch fish without issue, and really like the color on these and the size, so definitely going to put those to good use. The next bait is their walking bait, and this reminds me a lot of a Lucky Craft gunfish. I've used those for a few years now and caught a lot of fish on them, so I'd imagine that this is going to do the same. Like the color on this one too. This is Sexy Shad. And then we have their jerk baits. We have the Junior Scout, which I like the small profile. Great bait fish imitation. I think this is going to work really well. Super sharp hooks on these. And the thing I like about these is if you look on the belly of the bait, they are marked with the depth that they dive. So that's a nice little added touch. You know, if you got a bunch of baits in the box that are all together, it's nice to just be able to see on the bottom of that bait what your depth range is. You can see if it's going to work for the area you're in. Don't really have to think about it, or you don't have to remember what the bait in the box dives. It's right there on the bait. So I like that little added touch on these. And then this is the Scout, and I really like this profile bait. Nice and long, slender. This does a great job at imitating bait fish. I'm going to use this for probably stripers, believe it or not. We got a lot of little schoolies that come in, and stuff like this is what they're chasing. You know, they're chasing those smaller bait fish, so this would be perfect. But obviously you're going to throw this for bass, pike, pickerel, stuff like that. Again, super sharp hooks, and this one also has the depth on the belly, which is nice. And as a matter of fact, the mini banger also has it. So I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that any of their hard baits anyway, if they're top water, they obviously don't have it, but any of their other hard baits all have the depth right on the belly, which I think is pretty cool. Now, this is the one bait that I have something negative to say about, and that is the Filthy Frog. The main thing that I have to say about this is I wish the body was softer. When you collapse the body, it really wants to spring back on itself, and it's just not as soft as some of the other hollow body frogs that I've used. So this is probably the one thing that I would not purchase if I was going to purchase any of these items again. This is the one and only item I have something negative to say on. Other than that, everything that I have from the Googan lineup, I really enjoy so far. But I went in depth about that when I unboxed it from the Mondo kit box. So like I said, you guys can go check that video out. The main thing with this video was the soft plastics, so let's get in depth with those. First one is the Lunker Log. Got these in a 4-inch California Craw. We'll pop one out. Just your standard Senko. One thing I will say about these is they have a very strong anise smell. I've noticed all the Googan baits, they are scented. So that's a nice little touch. But pretty much just your standard Senko. I believe they're $5.99 a pack. And you get 9 in a pack in the 4-inch. All right, guys, so one thing I'm going to give them a lot of credit on before we go any further is the fact that every soft plastic that I have from them is in a clamshell package. They have Senkos, swim baits, Craws, creature baits, everything I bought, even the little Ned, I believe they're Ned bombs, which is just a Ned style bait. All of them are in a clamshell pack. And I absolutely love that. It keeps all the baits straight, keeps them perfect until you're ready to use them. So I give them a lot of credit on that. It's one thing I'm very happy about when it comes to the Googan baits is they had the peace of mind to even take Senkos and Ned baits and stick them in a clamshell. I think that's the best way to package soft plastics in my opinion, so I give them a lot of credit for that. All right, guys, so the next one is the Rattle and Ned, which is just a little Ned rig bait, and you get 8 in a pack. These are in California Craw. The one thing that I really like about these is they have rattle in them, and that makes them totally unique to any other Ned rig bait that I've seen on the market. No one has put a rattle in them, and I think that's going to be a game changer with these. You know, the price point on these is $5.99, and I'm a big believer in Z-Man. I really like their stuff. The durability on them is unmatched, but I think I will end up finding myself still buying a couple packs of these every now and then just because of that rattle that they put in here. You know, they've made this bait unique to the point where it's made me want to buy it. You know, I have so many baits and there's so many other baits on the market, and yeah, there's a lot of them that you can get cheaper. And that's one of my biggest things is I like to get stuff as cheap as possible. You know, fishing isn't cheap. So if I can find a deal, if I can find something for a cheaper price and I can make it work, that's what I'm going to do. But where they've made these unique to the point where no one else is doing it and they put that rattle inside, I think that's going to make a big difference, especially if the water's dirty. So let's pop one out, take a look at it. But I think they've definitely caught me on this one. I think this is going to be a staple in my bag when I go out fishing. All right, guys, so here's the Ned bait. The Rattle and Ned, I should say. California Craw color, but that rattle in there, I'm going to tell you, I really like that. I think that's going to draw a lot of bites. So like I said, I think this is going to be a bait that is definitely going to be a staple in my bag whenever I'm out fishing. I really like the design on this. I'm going to say that they definitely caught me. Like I said, I'm a believer in Z-Man stuff, but that bait there, I think, is going to do some damage. And the fact that, like I said, it's unique compared to every other bait that's out there. No one sells a rattle Ned bait. And I'm gonna definitely make sure I have these in my bag whenever I go out. So definitely caught me on that one. I really like that. That's probably one of my top 3 when it comes to the Googan baits. So let's take a look at the last couple I have. All right, guys, so next up we have the Bandito Bug. This is one of the baits that I've heard the most about from the Googan squad, and I'm really liking this bait. So let's pop one out and take a look at it. All right, guys, so this is the Bandito Bug, and I must say, out of all the soft plastics, this is definitely my second favorite to the Rattle and Ned. I love throwing a creature bait, and I really like this profile on this bait. It's nice, it's compact, and I think this is going to catch a lot of fish. I got this in the junior edition size, which is 3.3 inch. You get 9 in a pack. I don't think I said it, but you get 8 in a pack of those Ned, the Rattle and Neds. Yeah, you get 8 in a pack. But I really like this bait. It's thin, so it's going to go through cover easy. The appendages are all tight to the body. I think this is going to be a killer. So I'm really looking forward to using this bait. I'm really liking this. This may also become a staple in my box. You know, they are $5.99. But I do get some creature baits that I like to use at a cheaper price. So it'll definitely be a trial and error process. If I really like the way these work and I start catching a lot of fish on them, maybe I'll pay the couple extra bucks to make sure I always got these in my bag. But, you know, I'm all about saving money, and unless they work extremely well, there may be other options that I choose, but I'm really liking this. I like the body shape. I like that it's very narrow and it's going to go through cover easy. It's not going to get hung up. The appendages stay nice tight to the body. Shouldn't have any issues with those getting hung up either. Overall, I just like how compact this bait is. So this could also be a winner in my book. You know, like I said, $5.99, it's not a terrible price point, and you do get 9 in a pack, so this could be a winner for me as well. This may be a bait that I always keep in close range and close proximity when I'm out fishing. I always have a couple packs in the bag. I think I'm really going to like this one. But let's move on to the last and final bait. All right, guys, so the last bait that I picked up was the Craw Junior. And these you also get 10 in a pack. So decent amount of baits in one pack. Let's pop them out, take a look at them. All right, guys, so these are the Craw Juniors, and again, I like this bait. These remind me a lot of a Rage Craw. They got the rib on the claw and just the overall shape of them. Very similar to a Rage Craw. Now, I'm not like a lot of people out there that will stick to a brand and that's the only thing they use. The main thing I look for is the price. So let's talk about that, being this is the last bait. At $5.99 a pack, there are some baits out there that you can get a little cheaper. Now, I think I'm really going to like all of these baits, all the soft baits, all the hard baits. Like I said, the only thing I really had something bad to say about was the frog. Other than that, I'm liking every single one of these baits. So one thing I will say is if I find these at a good price, if I find them on clearance, or even if there's a sale, I definitely would not hesitate to buy any of these baits again. I think they're all good quality baits. I think they're made well, and I definitely think they're going to work and catch fish. The only thing, like I said, is they are a little bit more expensive than some of the other baits I use, but given I got them at a discounted price, or I find them in a clearance section or a clearance bin, absolutely, I'd buy these 100% of the time. I think they're made good, they have a nice scent, and I really think they're going to catch fish. I haven't put these in the water yet, but I'd be willing to bet they're all going to catch fish without issue. So that's my opinion on them. All right, so that's all the baits. Overall, I think they are all great baits. I don't think that the negativity that I've heard out there is justified just because some of these baits are similar to other baits on the market. You know, I mean, River to Sea has a whopper plopper. You didn't hear anyone bashing Berkeley about the fact that they came out with a Chopo that looks the same exact way as the whopper plopper. You don't hear anyone bashing Strike King because they come out with a swim bait that looks like Kitech. But when you have a bunch of guys get together from YouTube, create a group, and then put a product lineup out there, you get a bunch of negativity and hate because there are obviously people that crossed paths with each other that didn't see eye to eye. There are people that are getting paid from other companies and they feel like their company that they're getting paid by is getting ripped off. You know, I'm not sponsored by anyone. This is just my opinion on their baits, and that's all it is. It's an opinion. You know, I'm not wrong about what I'm saying, and I'm also not right about what I'm saying. I'm just giving you my opinion on these baits. Like I said, the only one that I had anything negative to say about was the Filthy Frog, and it's just simply because I wish the body on this bait was softer. If they used a softer material in that body, collapsed a little easier and didn't want to spring back as quick, I think it'd be a great bait. Not to say it's not a good bait now, but there are just definitely other hollow body frogs that I would pick over that one. Now, when it comes to the other baits, I would use those baits at any time, and I think they're all great. I think they're all going to work. I think they're all going to catch fish. You know, the whole nonsense of this company copied this company is just a little ridiculous. There's been so many baits on the market that already look similar to another bait from another company, and there was never an issue. There were never people up in arms about it. There were never people going back and forth about it on the internet. Someone would look at it, say it's similar to another company, and then they'd move on. Now that a couple guys got together from YouTube, made a name for a group, and then put out a bunch of laws, everyone's going to get upset. Just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's just a lot of negativity that doesn't have to be there. I think they're all good baits. I'll definitely use them. Like I said, the price point on them is, it's not terrible. I'm going to say that right now. They're a very average price for what they're giving you, just like every other bait on the market. I'm just someone that likes to save money on tackles, so, you know, these are pretty much the same price point as Kitech. Now, if they have the same action and they have a little more durability, like I'm thinking, yeah, I might switch to these over Kitech. Now, if they have the same durability, but Kitech has a little bit wider of a kick and a little bit more action because the bait is softer, well, then in that case, I'll probably just stick with Kitech. Even like these Craws. Now, I like the Rage Craws, I always have. Yeah, these are really similar to these, but just because these Kraken Craws are similar to Strike King doesn't mean I won't use them. But if I can get Strike King for $4.99 a pack instead of $5.99 a pack, then why not? I'm about saving money and getting stuff as a deal. And, you know, I got the Mondo kit and the Twitch kit on sale, so I bought one, got one 50% off, so that's a pretty decent deal. And then the other stuff I bought with gift cards just to try it out. You know, if I have gift cards and I'm not paying for it, then I'll give it a shot, see what it's like. You know, I think they're all going to catch fish. I think they're good baits. I think there's a lot of negativity that's out there that doesn't have to be. So, all in all, I would say they're all good baits, guys. I like every one of them, like I said. The only one I don't have 100% positivity in is the frog. But I think they're all great baits. I'm happy with them. I know they're going to catch fish. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you could, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I will see you in the next one.